Hello ladies, gentlemen, and those that don't identify themselves in that binary. I'm the Ski, and welcome to my Pokémon Shield Nuzlocke. The Wild Area. The area between the station and Motostoke, and then further on towards Hammerlock that we can see in the background there. An area full of overground Pokémon of random levels, all the way up to level 60. And at the moment, we're only just above level 10. It covers all types of Pokemon, so you've got areas where it'll be snowing, there'll be more ice-type Pokemon, areas of bright sunlight where you'll see more fire-type Pokemon. This is the big draw of the game. It's one of the big selling points that you can meet any Pokemon at any time. Fully evolved Pokemon, Pokemon you can only get through trading, are available in the wild area. So it's the big part of this game. And then we have Sonia come and speak to us, telling us how much fun she's going to have after she got told off by her gran that she needs to get out and do more with her life. And Hop runs off to go and fight the Dynamax Pokemon, which are available in the Dynamax dens that you'll have seen, the big glowing red areas. So there's Dynamax Pokemon inside there. We won't be going after those to begin with, because the thing with the wild area is that we can capture any sort of Pokemon here, but they might be really high level. So for the Nuzlocke, hopefully we can get some nice low-level encounters with our first encounter, because even if we run into something that's level 30, if that's our first encounter, that's the only one we're able to catch, and if the game won't let us catch it, well, that's a shame for us. So now we're going to head off into the wild area. After heading back to the station to get some Pokédolls from one of the people there, I headed out into the wild area. Throughout the wild area, occasionally you pick up notes telling you more about the game mechanics, which, I think is a quite nice touch. And, as I say, this one mentioned berry trees, and there we go, a berry tree. Berry trees are going to be important in this run, as they're one of the ways we can get, or reliably, get healing items and status healing items that we can't buy elsewhere. And they're not items we'll use in battle, they're held items, they're part of Pokemon's mechanics. So if our Pokemon eat their berries, then great. So I headed into the long grass and ran in circles for quite a large amount of time, considering how full of Pokemon the area is on screen. As always, my eyes were closed, so I had no idea where I was going, and we encountered a wild Combi. So Combi, not necessarily the best Pokemon. If it's female, it is female, so it will evolve into a Vespiquen at some point, but still not the most powerful Pokemon, but an interesting one I don't use very often, and that's one of the great things about playing with Nuzlocke rules. You'll use Pokemon that you don't normally use. So in this case, Combi and Vespiquen. So I had Korax out, and I had to be careful, obviously, because being flying type, and Combi being a bug type, there's the chance for super effective damage, which I didn't want to do in case I killed the Pokemon that we were allowed to capture. So it took a bit of time, using Power Trip rather than using Peck, but we did get to see some of the moves that Combi has. So Struggle Bug, useful move as we know from Molder. It reduces the special attack of the Pokemon that it hits, and reducing stats is always nice, especially in a Nuzlocke, because you can't just let a Pokemon faint. Sweet Scent, I've never really found much use for Sweet Scent, except as a counter for when a Pokemon uses one of the moves that increases its evasiveness. But again, Sweet Scent, not a bad move by any means. Then Combi uses Bug Bite, so we know that it's got two bug type moves, so two stab move options, one of which is special, one of which is physical, so we know how to tailor the Pokemon later on. So overall, it's got a nice spread of moves. Now I'd picked up one Great Ball earlier, so that was one I was going to use because it's the best chance of catching the Pokemon and reducing the damage that we're taking, just in case of a fluke crit that can take out our wonderful Korax. But Combi was caught. So we now have 3 Pokemon in the party, which I'm very happy about because 3 Pokemon gives us a bit more depth, and the first gym leader only has 2, so we actually have options available to us. And Combi, being bug and flying, against what I believe to be the grass gym, well, excellent. All the stab moves are going to be effective against it. I called it Fried Out as an homage, a reference to Land Down Under, a song which I heard a lot in clubs when I was at university. So after that, I realised that Korax has taken a fair bit of damage, so headed back, avoiding the giant Onyx, because, well, don't want to run into that. I'm sure it'll be a much higher level than we could deal with at this point. And we headed back to this nice Pokemon breeder who will heal our Pokemon for us. So after the Pokemon were healed, we headed back out into the wild area. Once again, avoiding the giant Onyx as we get close to it, but realising that there's an area full of combi, and if we've got Korax at the head of the party, that's a good place to grind up. Essentially getting a few more levels, getting a bit more XP onto everyone, because of the way the XP works in this game, with the XP all turned on at all times. It levels up the Pokemon that we wouldn't normally put at the head of the party. So, run into another combi. So Korax goes out as before, but this time, because we don't need to catch it, I could use a flying type move. So, super effective Peck, absolutely. Take the Sweet Scent. We know that Korax isn't going to outspeed most things throughout the game. And Peck. Didn't kill the combi. Could have saved a bit of time previously, but still. Peck it again. Take the Struggle Bug. Not too worried. 3 points of damage is 3 points of damage. That's not a problem for us. And yes, the combi goes down. See, XP comes in, Korax levels up, and Molder levels up to 10. Korax picks up Fury Attack, and we're going to forget Leer because 1 point of defense drop, very rarely worth using, so take another attack, then we've got normal attack type, which, you know, could be useful occasionally. But then, yes, Molder's reached level 10, so is evolving. And Molder is evolving into a Dottler, a Pokemon whose aesthetic I really like. It looks like a Raydome. It's called the Raydome Pokemon for that very reason. But also, when Dottler is evolved into, it gets 3 new moves: Reflect, Light Screen and Confusion, giving us a Psychic attack and Screens for damage reduction, which will be useful for strategies moving forward, and makes this our defensive Pokemon. So after some off-camera grinding, I got through to the Dappled Grove, where I ran into the grass and ran into a Snorunt. Snorunt? Snorunt. Never been quite sure personally. And I thought, great, it's hailing, a nice type Pokemon nice and early, let's go for this. And Molder's leveled up, so we can try some Reflect and Light Screen things, protect ourselves, see what it can do, and then move forward from there. So started with Leer, great. No problem for us. Molder's defense falling because it's going to put its Reflect up, and then it's going to put its Light Screen up. We're going to have no problems even if we take a special defense drop as well, or even another defense drop, because we're going to be saving ourselves via the screens. Snorunt then double teamed, and as I mentioned earlier, using Sweet Scent from Combi would have dealt with this, but I wasn't too worried. 1 evasiveness boost, not that much of an issue. So, got Molder, and I'd not yet used Confusion, and thought, why not see how Molder's doing as an attacking Pokemon? It's very much a defensive Pokemon at the moment. And then Snorunt used Astonish, and well, you can see what it did. It was a crit, but even though I'd put up those defences, that was a lot of damage, so Molder, after taking some more hail damage, needed to be taken out. So I thought about who I should put in and decided that Fried Out was probably the best bet. Possibly to be able to do the Sweet Scent, but mostly test out this Pokemon, see what kind of damage it can do, what other moves it has. So Fried Out got sent to deal with the Snorunt, and again we take an Astonish. Thankfully, Bug type, not going to take too much damage from an Astonish, which is great. Also, this time it wasn't a crit, so I was pretty happy, to be honest. So started first. Let's get a Struggle Bug in, because a Struggle Bug should at least do a little bit of damage, and we'll see what sort of defense this Pokemon's got, and we'll reduce its special attack, which should reduce the damage it's doing back to us. As you can see, the damage that we took was relatively small. But then I realised Snorunt has Ice Body and was going to be healing every turn. Our Reflect wore off, but I wasn't too worried because it's mainly been using Astonish. Struggle Bug happened again, and it's pretty decent damage, but that healing, that was going to take some time to do. And then Snorunt used Powder Snow. I thought, well, that's good to know it has it. Super effective, that's not great, and Frozen Solid. Being Frozen Solid, immediately fried out of there. Being frozen was going to be terrible, the light screen had worn off, there is a good chance that fried out goes down immediately. So I had to put Korax in, a flying type, against something that was now using Ice type moves. This battle had been going on for a while and I was getting a little worried. Thankfully, Snorunt decided to use Astonish, which I was more than grateful for, but as you can see, quite a bit more damage to Korax. So realistically, I could only take one more hit. So there's only one thing to do. Pokeball. If I can catch it, even at this pitiful amount of damage I've done to it, then I can have it on my team and not beating up my party and potentially taking Pokemon out. Thankfully, captured. So the battle had lasted a good 2 minutes, and my focus was getting a bit lost at this point. It was hailing. I'd had all my Pokemon beaten up by what's if not an especially powerful Pokemon. Got a level up for 2 of the Pokemon out of it. But yes, got Snorunt. The Snow Hat Pokemon. So obviously we're going to nickname it. It's a Nuzlocke. And as I say, my focus wasn't in there, so I went with Mrs. Snowy. Because, well, it's a female Snorunt, and it was very snowy. And with the Ice Body, we know that if there's any hail, we're going to get healing out of it. So Mrs. Snowy, moving forward, was going to be our 4th Pokemon. After heading off to heal, I came back and shook down some berry trees to get some more berries. These will be very useful when moving through trainer battles later on in the game. Just having that extra bit of healing or status reduction. Spoke to someone who would sell me things for Watts, but we're not buying anything even with Watts in this game. And I saw a Lombre in the long grass and thought this would be the perfect time to really test Molder out. So, wandered in to fight it, and yeah, Wild Lombre. Molder went out and was 5 levels below. However, it's hailing, which is good for us, and Struggle Bug is of course super effective against a Lombre. It was using Mega Drain, so it's going to heal itself back a little bit each time, but looking at the damage that was done, I was able to note that the high defences on Molder, the Dottler, they have pretty good defences for this stage of the game, and knocking down the special attack of the Lombre, meaning its attacks are getting less and less powerful with Struggle Bug, meant that we would be able to take it out and get quite a bit of XP just by taking out a higher level Pokemon. I say just by, I mean, that's the best way of getting XP in the game. Water Gun did a bit more damage than I was expecting, but final Struggle Bug took out Lombre, and we managed to level up quite a few Pokemon, and Molder leveled up twice out of the fight. So after battling the Lombre, I moved forward into the Watchtower ruins and began swirling in circles to find a Pokemon. And I encountered a very strong looking Ghastly. Mrs. Snowy went out first, ready for anything, and unfortunately, Ghastly was level 27. There was no way I could fight it, there was no way I could catch it, so unfortunately, this encounter, Pokédoll and run away. So we didn't get anything from the Watchtower ruins. I then tried to leave and immediately was run into by a very strong looking Ghastly. This was less than good because I'd already used 20% of the Pokédolls I'd been given, and they mostly got to last me the whole game unless I can pick anything up from the ground in the wild area. So I wasn't particularly happy with that, but again, Pokédoll, throw it out there, run away from the Ghastly, and unfortunately means that we weren't able to pick up a ghost Pokemon from the Watchtower ruins. I headed off and saw a shiny thing on the ground by a tree and picked that up, and then went over and picked up the item from the Pokeball, as I just used up 2 and I could have really done with some more. After the ghastly encounters, I'm not even sorry for that, deal with it, I saved for the night, and then when I started in the morning again, everything had brightened up in the Watchtower ruins. So the party looks pretty good at the moment, 4 Pokemon out of the possible 5 caught, and able to move forward. We moved up past all these other ghost Pokemon, avoiding the large Drifblim that would easily have taken us out, and walked along. I ran into a Drifloon to see whether I could get any combat experience from it, but unfortunately it was very strong. Apparently all ghost Pokemon are just too strong for my party to deal with at the moment. So once again, Pokédoll, and run away. You can see, used the item, got away from it, because that would have just one-hit killed every Pokemon in the party, and I don't think I'd have been able to get away. So avoiding the Drifloon and the Gollets, I went round the corner and headed through the nice non-long grass area, avoiding the Golurk because that would have been much too high a level for us to deal with. So, head along, you can see Lake Axwell there. The graphics are remarkably pretty in this game. And past Lake Axwell and began to head towards the stairs towards Motostoke, looking back over where we'd come. And just as it was about to tell me the new area I was in, I opened the menu. So I did have to reopen the menu to double check I was in a new area, so I could walk into the long grass and get the last Pokemon of the wild area before we continue with the plot. As you can see on there, East Lake Axwell, so now we know we can rush in, run in circles until we come across a Stuffle. Now you'll note this encounter is sped up because there were quite a lot of turns, and just watching me go through this new strategy of using double team a lot would have taken a very long time without the footage being sped up. So the plan here was to double team so that our evasiveness was as high as possible so the Stuffle couldn't hurt us too much, and then hit the Stuffle a few times and capture it. Now you'll see that even with the high evasiveness, the Stuffle did manage to do quite a bit of damage to Mrs. Snowy. That's fine, we can deal with that. And as this isn't a trainer battle, I could use a potion later on to make sure Mrs. Snowy wasn't going to go down and we didn't just trade Pokemon, lose one and gain one to keep us at 4. We should hopefully be at 5 when the Stuffle was captured. By raising the evasiveness so much and then using the potion, I knew that Mrs. Snowy was going to be able to survive the entire encounter, and everything began to look pretty good for us. The Stuffle had some good moves there, and essentially, once we'd got Powder Snow working, we knew that this Stuffle was going to be with us. Stuffle doesn't have a particularly good special defense. I did get a freezing off straight away, but unfortunately, immediately the next turn, it thawed out. Which was a bit of a shame because being frozen would have really helped with the capture rate. But by just doing a bit more damage each time, we were able to beat down the Stuffle to the point where we felt able to throw a Pokeball. Not this turn, the turn after, as Mrs. Snowy is not quite strong enough to take out the Stuffle. But we threw the Pokeball, and it immediately broke out. But, you know what, I'm not one to be deterred. Thought about going to fight, but decided actually, Pokeball again, we can capture it. It was just unlucky last time. As you can see, Stuffle was captured. I had to think about what we were going to nickname it, and got 3 level ups, which is always nice. So when thinking about the name, noticed we had a male Stuffle. It's a stuffed bear, and the bear that I wanted to go with was Rupert. So our new Stuffle is called Rupert. After that, having done most of the capturing and levelled up a few things in the wild area, headed over towards Motostoke so that we could finish up with a nice party of 5. Bit heavy on the bug, 2 bug type Pokemon, 2 flying type Pokemon, but overall there's Ice, there's Psychic, there's Flying, there's Bug. It's overall quite a nice party, and then with the addition of Stuffle adding in normal fighting, we've got pretty decent coverage of types across the entire party. Picked up our final note of the wild area telling us that watts exist and we can spend them. Unfortunately, that would be purchasing, so we can't. But we head over to the big stairs in front of Motostoke. As we look back over where we've come from, I hope very much that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe. I've been the Ski, and I hope you have a wonderful day.